Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show, your daily fix of football chat. The main talking points tonight is Ronnie Deila all set for a spinal tap moment at Tynecastle. St Johnstone and Ross County are already into the semi-finals of the League Cup, and Jim McIntyre reckons County can win the tournament. And Sepp Blatter reveals FIFA had already decided Russia would get the World Cup before a vote was cast. That's just a few of the talking points tonight. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin, and we're in the company in the boot room with our special guest Brian Easton of St Johnstone. Delighted to have you with us, Brian. And of course there was a nervy moment last night against Morton, but in the end did you feel that you were well worthy winners?
I think so. I think in the first half we created a lot of chances, probably should have scored one or two of them, and but as you said, when Morton got their goal, and it was maybe a bit of a nervy time for us, considering, you know, last year when we get put out of Queen of the South, you know there were no easy games in the cup games. So when we got that penalty, really, you know, settled us down a wee bit, and then obviously Mikey got the second, and we came on and got the third. So it was a tough game, but you know, I think we're the winners in the end, really.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen McLean, we're personally delighted for him, Ruffy, because you know, we've had him on the show, and picking up injuries, you know, one after the other, especially on that knee, it's been a blow to him. But he you know, when he steers clear of injury, he's a goal scorer. Aye,
definitely. He's a massive influence on the pitch as well, for everyone. He just drives everyone on, and linking up the play and that, he's great at that as well. But you know, you've seen it the last couple of months. He's been banging in the goals, and it's been massive for us. And as you said, with the injuries he's had, and you know, he's had some hard times. So it's great to see him back, and you know, on top of his game, and doing well for us, really. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a few players that you have in your side that are certainly receiving a fair bit of praise, and rightly so. Michael O'Halloran, last year, Ruffy, we watched him on a number of occasions. We were impressed by him, but he seems to have gone to another level. Definitely. I think this season he's been, you know, totally unplayable at times, and I'm not sure it was. I think obviously over the last couple of years, I think you've seen him getting better and better, you know, game by game, really. I think with that run of first team football, and you know, gathering that experience, and I mean, something must have clicked, and this season he's just been absolutely frightening for us, really. Yeah, the manager, Tommy Wright, Ruffy, stated this morning that he reckons he's one of the best young strikers in Scotland. The player, Michael O'Halloran, said he wants a Scotland cap, which is great. You like players to have a bit of ambition. You know, with these stats, he's certainly good enough. Yeah, he certainly is. There's no doubt about it. I don't think I've ever seen him having a bad game this year. I think any time he's played, he's been faster than everybody. He's been sharper than everybody. You know, he's got an eye for goal, and he's scoring goals. It's unfortunate. I think Gordon Strachan's decided not to have any games immediately. You know, I think he's going to wait a couple of months before he arranges some friendlies. But when he does arrange friendlies, he's the kind of player you would like to see if he can perform at a different level, and I'm sure he can. Yeah, well, Ruffy, we put together, you know, if Michael O'Halloran's up there, maybe three contenders that are worthy of recognition as well. Ryan Christie, Sam Nicholson and Ali Crawford. We already know the destination of Ryan Christie in the summer, but how would you assess the others? Well, I think they're all up there. There's no doubt about it. I wouldn't have a problem with any of them getting a shout in any of the international games coming up. There's no doubt about that. We keep talking about some of our squads getting a bit old, not at this precise moment in time, but keep looking for players for the future, and these are ones that are doing it at a top level, so why shouldn't they be given a chance? Yeah, are there any of those players that you particularly like, Brian? I think it's a good group of players there anyway, all four of them. I think every time I play against Christie, you know, you're really impressed with him. His touches, his vision, his passing is really good, and obviously, you know, Ali, when he was a little bit younger at my time at Hamilton, and you always knew that he was going to be a great player, you know, technically very, very good. So I think you've got four good players there, but I think, you know, as a defender, I think I'd hate to be playing against Mikey. I think especially with the way he's playing now, his pace and his power, and everything he's got really.
Yeah, and just mention it. I mean, I like Nicholson because I like the fact that he's direct, Ruffy. When he gets the ball, his automatic thought is forward, run at the defender. A bit of trickery in there as well. But Christie, he's just been consistent for Inverness. Last night he produced a flick which was just sublime onto the post.
Yeah, and we saw him. I don't know if you remember this. We saw him in his first game against, I think it was Motherwell, where he got flung on, and he just looked different class for a young boy who'd been thrown into his first game. Bags of confidence up and down the park, wee trick or two here or there, but certainly, as Brian said, the guys that you've got up there, have all got something to offer the Scottish game in the next couple of years.
Yep, and if we're talking about Christie, we have to talk about the result, because yet again, and don't get your, I can tell you've got your smug face ready. You did suggest, to your credit, that Ross County would win that match. Again, ever impressive. I was speaking to Jim McIntyre this morning. For me, Jackson Irvine has been, a really shrewd bit of business out of all the signings that Jim has been able to make.
Yeah, you're bang on again, Peter. We spoke about it in the Saturday show there last week, that a lot of clubs have individual players now who are standing out more than others. And certainly him up at Ross County, box to box. I mean, you'll know that, Brian. Last night he just seemed to be all over the place, and obviously the goal. And he's got a good breeding. We've been at Celtic, he's been about, and now he's found somewhere that he likes playing, and you can see that the club are getting the benefit from that.
Yeah, I mean, as well, Brian, regular football is key to your progression as well.
Definitely. I think just playing time can do so much for a player, especially when they're a bit younger, but even just finding somewhere, probably everyone's found somewhere where he's happy playing football, and I think that's massive as well. And he must be playing with a good bit of confidence just now, and that comes from playing games really, and having the manager having a bit of faith in you as well.
Yeah, I know, Jim. I know you guys will certainly fancy yourselves to win this tournament. The draw, I think, is made on November 8th or 9th. I think I'd written it down. 9th of November is when the draw is made. Jim McIntyre mentioned that he thinks Ross County can win this cup now, semi-final position. You've got to be confident about it. And when you look and consider, Ruffy, that sandwiched in between Celtic and Rangers, suddenly Kilmarnock, St Mirren and Aberdeen were all able to sample cup glory in the League Cup. You wouldn't bet against, the likes of Ross County and St Johnstone going on and doing it again.
No, I think if we look and cast our minds back to semi-finals and finals, there's lots of games where the bigger team was expected to win but hasn't, because the teams like St Johnstone go into a semi-final and they up their game. They know what's at stake. They know it might be the first and only time they get to a final, so there's that wee bit more determination. And if you went further back on that League Cup start, I think you'd find there are a lot more smaller clubs in finals and winning it.
Yeah, absolutely. A great chance for all the clubs. Do guys like yourself start to think, well, tonight's game, maybe Hearts can do everybody a turn? Is that what the way footballers' minds work on it, or do you just think you're going to have to beat a big club anyway?
A bit of both, really. I think you obviously look at Celtic being the strongest team in the competition, so you're always wanting them really to get put out, but it just means that Hearts are there.
I know. He's admitted it. What do you want from him, Ruffy?
Of course you do. It doesn't matter. You want the bigger and stronger teams out the road, to give the other teams a chance. There's no doubt about that. Even when the draw comes round, people will be telling the truth, who they want and who they don't want.
Yeah, I imagine when the draw comes round, I mean, it's a strange situation, but we've got Hibs Dundee United next week. I mean, it's all good sides left in it. Ross County, what have you made of them, Brian?
I've been, not disrespect, but I've been surprised how well they've started, but that's all credit to them. But to be honest, I think if you look at the players they've got, the strike power they've got with Boyce and Graham and that strong midfield as well, I think they're really doing themselves justice, really, because I think when we've played them, they were very strong. I think the games that I've actually seen them, the televised games, they've looked good, and probably deserving to be where they are in the league, really.
Yeah, we are going to talk about Hearts in the match at Tynecastle tonight. It's one of those games, Ruffy, an atmosphere that you would like in a cup match. It's certainly Tynecastle's up there as one of the best stadiums in the country for it.
Yeah, I think if you ask anybody, to go to Tynecastle in a full stadium, there's a fantastic atmosphere in it, there's no doubt about that, and it will be the same tonight, and I think the Hearts supporters will be expecting a win.
Yeah, absolutely. But as Brian and any professional footballer will tell you, fans don't win games. In the next part of the programme, we will talk about Hearts and Celtic. We're also going to talk Sepp Blatter. We're going to talk about Brian's absolute screamer, because if we don't mention it, most of Brian's family will be on the phone to me and Ruffy complaining. So we'll talk about that as well. Our bookroom guest is Brian Easton of St Johnstone. There's more from Ruffy and myself after this quick break.
Hi, I'm Chris Sutton. To win this beautiful signed shirt from me, which club did Celtic sign me from?
Hi, I'm Craig Turnbull, and don't forget you can watch the PLZ Soccer news headlines Monday to Friday by clicking on the link below.
Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin, and our bookroom guest is St Johnstone fullback Brian Easton. And the great thing about coming on the programme is every now and then, Ruffy, you get a wee sprinkling of good fortune. And the last time we had Brian on, you mentioned to me there in the break that he had a bit of form.
Yeah, and like all players, they want to score a goal no matter what position you're playing in, and we'd told them that we'd given some players a rubbery green when they come on the show, and lo and behold, he had a screamer that not went in the back of the net, but he hit the post with it, which was good.
Yeah, but the best strike of all was the goal at Aberdeen. I mean, it just came out of the air. I mean, it's one of those ones that you just connected sweetly with it.
I totally. I mean, I think it came for a long throw in, and then balls come down for a bit of height, so I think it was just pretty much last second I decided to have a wee go. Got it sweetly, so it's no something I'm known for, my goal scoring, but I was more than happy to see that one going back in the net, really.
It was an absolute peach. And the other thing I was going to say to you, you said you were surprised about Ross County. Were you surprised that you actually gave Aberdeen a complete doing up there at Pittodrie?
Definitely. It was a strange game, because I think we didn't play that well the first half, but we went in 3-1, and then second half we came out probably just full of confidence for that, and made it a comfortable half for ourselves and got another couple of goals. So definitely, you're not going up to Pittodrie thinking you're going to win 5-1, but it was pleasing to do so, really.
Yeah, and what about the ambitions this season? Because now there's a certain stature attached to St Johnstone, not only for the fact that you've won the Scottish Cup, but you've played in Europe. Your manager's decided to stay. He rates the bunch of players. Is there a feeling from you guys that anything less than top six and high up in that top six would be a disappointment?
I think it would be. I know we always start off seasons when we get asked about our ambitions, we just say we'll take it a game at a time. We're aiming for top six, but I think with the players we've got and the way we have been playing for most of this season, I think we need to really set our targets and getting that top six, and as you say, finishing as high up as we can, because I think we're good enough to do that, and I think we need to target that, really.
Yeah.
We're getting a taste of obviously the cup one. Once you get the taste, you want it again, don't you? And when the cup games come round, you know what you've got to do, and sometimes that makes it a wee bit easier.
I mean that was definitely the case last night. I think we're all very cautious about obviously facing a tough game against Morton, but we had our eyes obviously setting that semi-final, and you're one game away from another final, and possibly another bit of silverware. So, and with winning it a couple of years ago, it definitely gives you the confidence that it can be done, and as you say, it gives you the hunger to do it again, really.
Yeah, we've spoken to a number of the guys. Chris Miller's been on the programme. We talked about the memories of it will never leave, and the guys' names are etched in history. You guys must just walk about there and think, I mean, did it take a while to sink in what you guys had achieved?
It did. I think. I mean, the big day was obviously the Sunday when we done the open top bus tour, and that was great because you actually got to see how much it actually meant to everyone around about Perth, and you know it began to sink in a wee bit then. But the fact that everyone still talks about it, and they still get such great fresh memories, if you will. But I think definitely, I mean, that just shows you how much it meant to everyone, really.
Yeah. Did you get an open top bus for the Thistle win, Ruffy?
No, I don't think anybody expected us to beat Celtic. We had just the flatlining bus with the wee skylight, which was very difficult to get the cup out of.
Yeah, I had a feeling it might be it's a day never to be forgotten. And you guys etched in St Johnstone history as the first team to win for St Johnstone a domestic cup. Absolutely magnificent. And of course you're back to your old boys. I'm sure there'll be a few jokes, a few well-kent faces for you when you take on Hamilton.
I always enjoy going back there because a lot of the same people are still there from the time when I was a young boy there, and it was always a great place to work and play your football. Everyone's so helpful and very kind there, but obviously we're going to do a job really, and I'm going there looking to get 3 points against them really.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a wee bit of texting, toing and froing when we told them you were coming on this programme. They'll be hanging on your every word, Brian. And as far as the quarter-final taking place tonight, Ruffy, I just get the feeling that, Ronnie Dyler's got a real insight into the pressures that come with being a Celtic manager. I mentioned that Spinal Tap moment because he thinks the noise and the hysteria that followed on from the Molde defeat was over the top. If they should lose tonight, I reckon the volume goes all the way up to 11.
Yeah, it's unfortunate as well. Nobody likes to see any manager under pressure, but it's the European results that's put them under pressure. The SPL games aren't a problem, there's no doubt about that. They've shown they can beat most of the teams comfortably, but they're now getting into a game where, unfortunately, with these results in Europe, that every big game now is going to be under pressure to win them. And you're not going to do it all the time, and specifically with Hearts, Aberdeen, and then the other European game coming up. It's 3 massive big games. And you would have to say, I would think you would have to win 3 of them.
Yeah, win all 3, but to avoid criticism.
I think any one of these results that don't go Celtic's way, he will come under criticism, unfortunately, with the results in Europe.
Yeah, and of course, I don't really want to dwell too much on it, Brian, but some players have said, training ground bus stops don't go on every day of the week. They don't, but they happen, and I don't think too much should be made of them. I mean, I'm sure Nadia Sifsi and Emilio Izagiri just think, okay, it was over the top, shake hands, get on with it.
Definitely, because I've seen plenty of them myself. It doesn't happen all the time, as you say, but I think when I heard about it, it wasn't something I thought was going to be a big problem inside the Celtic dressing room. I wouldn't imagine it would be. Obviously, sometimes tensions are high when you're training, but I don't think it'll be much made of it between the players there. I wouldn't imagine so anyway.
Yeah, and I'm not being disrespectful here to St Johnstone or Ross County, but and I'm only thinking about it from speaking to friends of mine who are Hearts fans. Will the feeling be among Hearts fans that if they can see off Celtic, they'll think favourites for this tournament?
Probably will do. That the resources that they've got, the pool that they've got is probably bigger than everybody else that's left in the squad. But I don't think St Johnstone and Ross County will see it that way.
Yeah.
They'll know by playing Hearts this year what it's all about and what they have to do to beat them.
There's been a few surprises, Brian. Have you been surprised by Hearts? Because this is a team effectively coming up from the Championship. They've bought wisely. They've got young talent in as well, as we discussed earlier.
I've not been too surprised because I think they were very good last season, but it's always a challenge, or it's something you have to wait and see how they start off. But I think they've started off very well, and a pretty exciting game against ourselves. So I think we probably let ourselves down with some bad defending that day, but I think you need to give a bit of credit to Hearts there. I think it was a great game to play in, but unfortunately we end up losing. But from there, I think they've went on, and I mean they look strong. I think it's similar to Hamilton coming up last year. I think everyone was a bit surprised with them, but I mean they've got a good setup, and I think ever since they went into administration before, I think the way it's been handled by everyone at the club, I think they've done everything really right, and they've got some the rewards out it really now.
Yeah, I mean, just to finish, I want to get your thoughts, lads. Probably not as hard hitting from yourself, Brian, on this, but maybe Ruffy will have a go at it. I looked at the story today emerging Sepp Blatter. I mean, if he's gonna go down fighting, he's going down fighting, kicking and screaming, because he basically said that FIFA had already decided to offer the World Cup to Russia in 2018 before a vote was cast. I mean, if the English FA were not incensed by that, I'd be absolutely gobsmacked. Why spend millions if it's already predetermined, Ruffy?
Yeah, you're right. It's the more and more we keep talking about FIFA, it's getting absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sure as the days go on, there'll be more and more things that will come out. But that particular statement is absolutely ridiculous, and maybe taking everybody away for the Qatar episode. I don't think we've heard the last of that either. It remains to be seen. There's lots of candidates coming forward now, and we'll have to wait and see who that's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the final dig at Michel Platini as well. I just wonder, whether he's been mortally wounded in his bid to become the president.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, the figure, I think it was 1.3 million or something like that. He's now trying to talk himself out of it. That was a salary, it's very difficult to get these jobs now.
Yes, yeah. and if those jobs are about, could you please contact Ruffy and myself immediately? Okay, good to get your thoughts on that. Brian, the great thing is on Saturday we'll be watching you closely. If it drops 25 yards out, just hit it, because this little sprinkling of luck is bound to work in your favour. Thanks very much to Brian Easton, the St Johnstone fullback. They're in the semi-finals, and there's and we'll discuss it tomorrow on the programme. Enjoyed the show and you'd like to see more, then why not go on to plzsoccer.com. All our guests from the full season
Scotland and England 2-6.
2 o'clock till 6 on a Saturday. If you want the goals as they hit the back of the net, then click on plzsoccer.com. Thanks for watching.